Morning. Today I'm going to show you how to make these lovely little flowers using Bo Bunny papers, eCare Success Punches and a little spritzer bottle from Jonestones. Okay, so what I've done is I've used this large retro flower and I've punched 4 large flowers out of one of the Bo Bunny petal pusher ranges. I've used the Whale of a Punch retro flower and I've punched 4 flowers from that. And then I've used the medium retro flower and I've punched 4 in one colour and 4 in another colour, and I've inked the edges. So when I say I've inked the edges, all I've done is punched one of the flowers and then I've just taken a bit of dry foam and a bit of the Clearly Better ink from the paper company and I've just literally gone round the tops of the petals. It just takes away that blunt white edge and makes it look a little bit more realistic. Alright, so don't worry about getting into all these little nooks and crannies, that's not going to show. Okay, so I've piled them on top of each other in sizes and I've just taken my tweezers, which are my eCare tweezers, and I'm just working on a foam mat. This is actually my stamp mat that I stamp on. And I'm just going to pop a hole into the middle of there, twist it round so it gives you a nice decent hole in the centre of all 4 piles of your flowers. So what I'm going to do then is just take a brad. I'm just going to use one of the Bo Bunny brads. And you need brads that have quite long legs on the back, alright. And I'm going to start with my smallest flowers, so my middle flowers, and I'm just going to pop the brad in there, make sure that I can get it through properly. Then I'm going to do my next flowers like that, my Whale of a Punch flowers and my large retro. Now when you get to this stage, I just want you to open the legs out a little tiny bit. Right, I don't want you to squash it down so that they're flattened at the back, because what you need to do at this stage is then just take your time and you just need to alternate your petals, so you just need to move your flower petals round so that there's no gaps in between. Okay, that's important, because otherwise you end up with a very sparse looking flower when you're finished. So I'm just moving these round, overlapping these petals. When you get to the centre ones, you'll find it a little bit more difficult, but I'm not too concerned about the centre ones. It's the ones at the back that are more important, really. And then these little ones here, these medium flowers at the, if I can just angle that so you can see it, I'm just going to spread these out so that they're not all overlapping each other. Okay, you can be quite firm with these papers. The Bo Bunny papers are a really good quality paper, so they stand up to quite a bit of abuse, which is a good job when I'm using them. And then what I'm going to do is just open the legs out at the back and just squash it down so that it's secure and in place. Okay, so that's your basics of your flower. Just move those punches out of the way and I'm just going to get rid of this mat now. And I'm going to work now on a piece of kitchen roll. This is where you really do need to use a good quality paper like Bo Bunny, because what you're going to do now is wet it. I'm just going to use one of the little spritzer bottles, it's just a Jonestones spritzer bottle, and I'm just going to wet this through. Now don't be scared of putting lots and lots of water on this. Okay, we need to have lots of water on it. It needs to be saturated through. And then I'm going to take my tweezers and I'm going to start a flower at a time, and I'm just going to pull up the petals. Okay, doesn't matter what level of crafting you're at to do this. You can get the children doing these actually, just be careful with them with these tweezers though, because they are sharp. And then I'm going to scrunch this. That's a new word I made up the other day. It's a mixture of scrunch and pinch. Thought it was quite good for this project, scrunch. So it reminds me of when I was making baking. My mum was teaching me how to bake when I was little and making the edges round pies, and you seal the edge of your pie. You're just going to pinch it all in. You're just going to do it a petal at a time and work your way around. And the more you pinch it, the better the result will be at the end. Okay, so you're just going to work your way all the way around the flower, building it up, and you'll end up with something that looks like this, like a rosebud. The important thing is every time you do a different layer, wet it again, alright, because you need your paper to be really wet. You need it to hold in place, otherwise it all starts opening out. Okay, so you'll end up with this little rosebud. And I'm just going to re-wet this because I did this a while ago, so I just want to make sure it's got enough moisture in. And again, I'm just going to work directly onto the table this time. Actually, I'll put a piece of kitchen roll underneath and then you can probably see it better on camera. And again, I'm just going to take my tweezers and I'm just going to open it out a petal at a time. Okay, I'm just going to work my way around the flower. Don't worry if you've got some that are curled over like that, because that's what we want. We want it to look quite realistic when it's done. Okay, so I'm just working my way around a petal at a time, just opening out this flower. It's quite funny, you know, when I do this on demonstrations or make it take it, and I get them to the stage where it's in a nice little bud, and then I'll say, right, now you're going to work backwards and open it all up, and they all go, oh. But when they finish the flower, they're all really pleased with it. So it does take a little bit of time, but to be able to have a flower that you can coordinate with your papers on the card that you're making, you can put this on a card, you can put it, it's beautiful on the top of a little gift box or on top of a present. To be able to coordinate everything with the card that you've made is just so professional, gives it a really nice finish. So I'm just going to open this up. The other good thing about using Bo Bunny papers is not only are they a fantastic quality, but they're double-sided, so you're not ending up with a white back, because obviously you can see the fronts and backs of some of these petals, so you need to use a double-sided paper really. And inking the edges just makes it so much better. So I'm just going to open these out a little bit at a time. Don't worry if your tweezers pull a little bit of the paper, because it is wet, so you'll get a little bit of a drag in with it, but it's just lovely when it's done. And each one you do is different, that's the nice thing, so you never know what you're going to end up with until you've finished it. It's lovely. Okay, so I'm getting down to the centre petals now, and again these have been squashed for quite a while, so we'll get a really nice effect with this. And it's just taking your time. Using these tweezers are perfect because they're so sharp at the end. You can really get them in and open up those petals. And like I say, out of a few sheets of 12 by 12 paper you'll get lots and lots of flowers. So it's a great thing to keep the children quiet during the school holidays. Just open it right up so you can see the brad in the middle, and then just start to shape it a little bit. Just reset the flowers where you want them to be. Then you end up with a lovely little flower. Now don't worry about it looking a little bit dark because it's still wet. So what I would do is put this in a warm place, either in your airing cupboard or on top of your fireplace. I've actually put it on a metal pie dish and just put it on a very, very low light in the oven and just leave it to dry, and you'll end up with a lovely little flower that when it's dry looks very similar to that. Okay, alright, see you soon, bye.